what? The next few weeks, unbelievable. Co-hosting my dear friend, Dr. Loretta Pierce. Sister Reed and Dr. Lenika Scott. Conversations that are real, raw, rough, and guess what they'll do for you? They'll set you free. They'll put you to fly on higher ground. The next few weeks, you gotta connect with Sandrie and Friends. See you there. There's some people that just don't want to celebrate you.
Yeah.
And you know what they say? What is it? Don't be where you're tolerated, be where you're celebrated. And sometimes you do have to till it's time.
Yeah.
But girlfriend, it's time to shout it to the mountain.
Hallelujah. Glory.
He done did it. And it's yours. It's 2.6 million.
Oh my God.
And listen, what are you believing him for? Listen, Linda. No, listen, you over there. Listen, God will do it for you.
Yes.
When you go from renting to owning, you have the right to own it. The question is, do you realize that you have it in you already? You lack nothing. We lack nothing.
Yes.
You understand that? The download has been made. Think of yourself. If you were a computer, have you opened the right application? Have you clicked? Have you activated it? And are you moving in it? And that's what happened with you. You literally kept clicking. No, God, you promised, you said, and you focused on the promise, not on the pain. The process is the process. I am so happy today. You connected. It's Sandrie and Friends, and we have another amazing, wonderful, wonderful interview today. But before I even go into that, my co-host, Dr. Loretta Pierce, is here with us. And it's exciting always to have a good friend, literally part of our board of advisors. But you know, above all, a Jesus agent. That's it. She connects people, and she is really right after the Father Heart of God. And our special guest, Dr. Lenika Scott. It's just so good to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And beautiful.
And what an honor, right? Gorgeous. But I had the honors of meeting Lenika through you, Dr. Loretta Pierce.
Well, let me tell you, consider it an honor. Although meeting you is an honor as well.
Oh, but girl, you've been in my life now, and it's a miracle the way you came into my life.
We came in.
But God, right?
Yeah.
But God, 5 a.m. in the morning, I'm making a connection to Mexico. My phone rings. It's Dr. Loretta Pierce.
Wow.
God has spoken to me and said, you go do what you got to do. I'm on my way to Mexico. And God said to me, post your flyer. I was getting ready for a conference.
In Atlantic City?
That's right, Atlantic City. My 3 girls, seminar presenters, they were on the flyer. And literally, keynote speaker, around circle, no picture. And the Lord told me, by the time you return from Monterrey, Mexico, you will have your keynote speaker. I share that information with my husband. And of course, my husband back then was the mayor, says to me, honey, that flyer shouldn't go up. That is just not professional. I said, well, guess what? I'm going to do what the Father said.
Come on.
When we obey.
Yes.
What happened since then is the New Jersey area where we're both from, different areas, but still New Jersey. Mm-hmm. It has been a blessing. Her foundation, the Hand Foundation, has, brought the most amazing, she'll be there. You'll experience it. You'll experience it. And I'm talking
people won't believe because nobody brings them any type of
Tasha
name.
Cobbs to, last month it was Angie Stone. Tamika Holyfield.
Oh my gosh.
Real Talk Kim. We're not throwing names out. We could keep going and going and going.
Oh, wow.
But you know what it's all about.
But
he gets all the glory
for them. You will experience it. And when you do, I hope you can share a story from the platform
Yeah.
of how you went. I need people to hear this for people that are renting or leasing or looking at, and it's a market now, buyer's market, where people want to buy homes and think, oh my gosh, I've never owned a own home. I've never, I had a cousin that was like that. She lived in a mobile home and she would cry and say, "Cousin, I'm looking at your pictures online. I'm just begging God.
Yes.
Diana,
Come on. Yes.
To get me out of here."
Yes.
And her mobile home was beautiful. I'm a simple girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, if it's pretty and plant flowers and do the landscaping, you'll be. She said, "No, but I need more. 30 years of this." And how did you go?
Wow.
I need people to understand that faith is real.
Yes,
work,
it is real.
You have to work.
Yes.
Faith without works is
dead.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you go from
leasing,
renting? Let's just keep it real.
Renting.
Leasing's a good name. Let's say renting. To a 2 point, some say 5, some say 6. I think your realtor might have said $6 million home.
Yeah. Pay for it cash.
In cash. That's it right there.
I'll be honest, y'all. I didn't even want to. Go ahead. Can you tell us?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Paid for.
Cash.
God.
It still seems surreal.
Yes.
It seems very
no
surreal.
Lottery.
No.
People have to understand
there's a
that.
scripture that talks about when God delivering you out of captivity would be likened to those who dream the dream.
Yes.
And that's what I feel. I do. And so a lot of times we'll say from food stamps to millions, right? From food stamps to millions. My husband and I, we've been blessed with 6 precious daughters, Jasmine, Janae, Jayla, Georgiara, and Jordan. Yeah. And it was not always easy, but I'll take it back just a little bit, right? When I was holding that baby who's now she just turned 14 last week, I was holding her on my hip. Started a home business. I started a business from home. We had so many children that the Lord was sending me and, sending me home, took me out of work and built a business, did very well 13 years ago. And then it crashed and we lost everything during this time. My husband, he had left his job. He was making almost 6 figures a year. And so now we're doing the business together. And then we lost everything. So we had a home that we were renting out. We had moved into this beautiful property at the time we were leasing, and we were about to purchase the home when everything just slipped up from under us. And then we ended up in this home where 4 children were sleeping in one room, and then 3 children were sleeping in the other because we had our niece at this time. And it was this when we were in our the space that God had us in. It was just 3 little rooms. Now we have 7, right? Almost 10,000 square foot that we just purchased last week. We just got our keys last week because we've been paying for the home.
I like the punchline.
Yeah. Paid for in cash.
Now it's paid in cash.
Oh,
if you would have gotten that property you were looking at before, you would have been making a mortgage payment.
Oh yeah.
Now you paid it cash, 2.6. Tell me about that process. It's so important because people, they hear the story and it's fabulous. Oh my gosh, and all the rooms and all this and all. But the process was you lost it all.
Yeah, lost everything.
To gain a whole lot more. And you've learned a lot, grown a lot. And by the way, you worked before. Yeah. You continue to work, but what God allowed in the process is that now you own it. Yes. And you're in control of your destiny. Yeah. You still work it. Yeah. But because it's yours. Yeah. And it's something you love, it's your passion.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me just I gotta take back because I really want to bless someone where people are asking questions like I was asking, why me? Why are you bringing me all into this just to kind of drop me here and leave me? Here I am, very successful, and just to lose it all, and you now still kind of being out in the public and
go ahead,
you're dealing with that, so. I remember one night I was in bed, it was around 2:00 in the morning, and the Holy Spirit woke me up and I heard the word self-sabotage. It's like, wow. So like we typically do, go to Google. That wasn't a word that I generally would talk about or even hear another coach or mentor talk about, it's all out there now. And so I said, well, Holy Spirit is telling me self-sabotage, so I need to study deeper. And I began to look at the words and what it meant. And God began to show me, what you all are dealing with, you being on food stamps and even having bills turned off, like that wasn't my husband and our story. We always paid bills on time every month, okay?
Yes.
And I'm like, we getting bills turned off? Like, what's going on? And he said, this really isn't about you. But this is about the people that I'm calling you to bring hope to and to deliver and let them know if you hit rock bottom, I am the God that can bring you up. I'm the God that can bring you out. I am the God that can be your deliverer.
And
right? I'm the God of breakthrough. And so what I need you to understand is if you don't stop these thoughts, right?
Cycles.
Right? Imposter syndrome, not feeling worthy, not feeling valuable, woe is me, and so then I birthed this statement called focus on the promise and not the pain. Because the more you focus on the pain will be attracted unto you. But as you focus on the promise, that's what you're going to get, right? And then I also during that time came up with don't allow your down place to define you. In other words, you're not your wilderness, right? Though you're in the wilderness, that is not what you put on. He began to remind me, I place a mantle over your life. I place a wealth mantle over your life. So whether you are on food stamps, it's in the red or whatever, that same mantle is there, right? But what I want to do to you, I want to really show you, even to yourself, like how much do you really trust me?
Girl, go ahead.
Can you still be content, right, in this low place with me? Can you still give me the same worship that you gave me when you had, than when you don't have? Will you be content? And when we did that, both my husband and I, he was like, get it together. This really is not about you, but about who I'm calling you to minister to. And then we started to come out, and God began to restore us. In 2013, a company came our way, and my husband and I became the founding founders of a company that was launching in the United States of America. And so we are a part of the founding families that helped to launch another company, a health and wellness company, global. And so we have in our business entity, there are people all around the world that are connected to us business-wise. And in 2015, we hit our first millions, and we paid off a home in cash at that time, $600,000 home in cash. And then a few years ago, because people we bought all these other properties, because we teach it's not about how much you make, but it's about how much you keep, and you're wise with it. And then we bought land. God spoke to us about land. I remember waking up and saying, babe, I feel land. And he laughed at me. Just my husband, babe. We've been married together 30 years, married for 26. And he pulled up his laptop. He said, I've been looking at land over the last couple of days. And I said, let's go get some more land. So then we go get the land. That went through like a breeze. The next year we decided to build. And then it just seemed like, oh my God, things were just thrown at us. And now it was another testing of your faith time. He was like, the last few real estate properties that you guys have got, it's been easy, it's been a breeze, but this one is going to be a test. And we started to build. We decided to pursue a loan. Now, years prior to that, we had been telling everybody, debt free, debt free, debt free. No man, nothing, right? And now we're about to pursue a loan for this home, and the banks denied us. Good credit, money in the bank, real estate investments. The banks denied us. We're like, what is going on? God is like, do you really trust me? Do you really trust me like you say you trust me? Do you really trust me like you're telling everybody else to trust him? And it was just so much. We begin to get overwhelmed because we're like, God, you brought us to this, but now it doesn't seem like the vision that we have in our hearts are able to come to fruition. So we rested in God for a few months. And last year when the pandemic hit, March is when they shut everything down. April, he said, go forth now and tell the builders this will be cash. And we're like, what? By that time, we had already established a relationship with them. Tell the builders, look. By that time, we had already...
And the builders would say, show me the
money. By that time, we had already established a relationship with them. We had given them a deposit of almost $200,000 cash of our own money. And then they were like, okay, they didn't ask to see nothing. No credits, no bank statements, no nothing. We said cash. They said, all right, go ahead and wire the first check.
Because we're talking 2.6 million.
Yeah.
So 200,000
Yeah.
is one thing.
Yeah.
But we're talking 2.4
yeah.
more million.
And gas we trust another
Right.
cash.
Yes, we like cash. And he said,
I
this is what
love
you're going to
it.
do. You're going to become your own bank.
Yes.
You're going to set up your holding company.
You are
Yes.
speaking to people.
You
You are
flipped the script.
teaching.
He said, you are going
You
to
are
become your own
teaching
bank.
today.
And step by step, God led us through the process. And then we would just do the draws. And I tell you, when I look at even that statement of account, and you could see the income and the statement is in the draws as if we were our own bank. And then it just going down and down and down to last week when we closed at the house.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
like, where'd I do that at?
Yes.
Only God. Because, my last closings, it was always at some attorney's
Of
office.
course.
Mhm.
With
When
everything.
he
Right.
said, no, we'll be there at your home, give you your keys. I
Ooh.
said, wow. The last, my husband, he pulled out his laptop, that same laptop, when he saw the land where God had heard.
my
It's
God.
8 acres of
My
water
God.
that sits behind the property that's very peaceful.
Mhm.
And he pulled it out and he sent that last
I'm so
draw
happy too.
in, and they gave us our keys, and I'm still so overwhelmed from a girl that was raised, just
Yes.
inner city. I had a
Yes.
mom. That's why I love, like, my heart goes out to single moms
Yes.
that are raising their children just by themselves. It's hard enough to have two parents in the household when you
Well,
have to
there's
be
one.
responsible for souls and children. But when you
Yes.
have one, that was my mom, was a single mom. And she raised 3 beautiful children, and then she went on and got married and had another child. But I saw my mom struggle, and that was one of the things that I was always in pursuit of, in terms of, I don't want to see my children have to suffer and go through what my mom did. So that's one of the reasons, Dr. Sandra, I've just worked so hard in business and entrepreneurship, just to accomplish some things, break some generational curses so that it wouldn't be, the same thing. But it's just been such a blessing to see the girls in their excitement about what mommy and daddy, our belief, our prayer life, our standing on the word, fasting, praying.
Amen.
And could do.
But they're prayer warriors as well.
Oh yes, they
And
are. They are.
Let's talk about them.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Right before we go to the kids, vision without action
Oh my.
is simply an illusion.
Oh yes.
And what I hear in the midst of your process, we always repeat, process is inevitable.
Yes.
But you did not lose sight
That's it. Of the vision.
of the vision.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
you did
it.
not lose sight
That's
of the
it.
vision.
And that's what
Which
most
also
people stay
empowered the
stuck.
children.
And most people stay
That's it.
stuck.
That's the
They
key.
they won't
They're
get
And
out.
that's it, it's over.
They won't give.
They
They
give.
won't
They give.
come
They
out.
give into exactly.
And that's
They
when
fall into the pit.
and they'll stay there. They stay stuck in the wilderness too long. And God doesn't send us or
Focus
allow
on
wilderness experience. Focus on the promise and
Yeah.
not the pain.
There you
God
go.
doesn't allow wilderness experiences for us to stay there. But it really is a testament of our faith. And it's not that he wants us to also see too what is in us.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it.
Well, people
I'm
want
gonna
it
get
easy.
through.
People,
Oh yeah.
like I don't have a problem with people just think they're gonna name it and claim it,
Yeah.
and it's there. No, there's a process.
It doesn't
to
work
it.
like that.
Yeah, you have a vision, you have a dream. You put action. You do whatever
Yes.
it takes.
Yes.
You do the possible.
Yes.
God steps in to do the impossible. In
Impossible.
other words, I take the first step and I give God something to work with.
Amen.
Okay,
Amen.
and so to me, it's so important because I believe rightfully so that if I take action and I stand on the word
yes.
and I move on it, results are going to come.
That's
and they're going to
right.
be good results. So your
Yes.
children have witnessed
Yes.
Yes.
the move of God.
Yes.
The wow, we yes
Praying
we
parents.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Praying
and
parents.
they've
Yeah.
witnessed
Yes.
the valley.
Yeah, they have.
Okay, they've
And
gone
they're
to the
so
pit.
appreciative and they're so grateful.
I mean, you go from having your own
Yeah.
room to going into a foreign
yeah,
room,
yeah.
and then now look where we're at.
Right.
They
yeah.
at a very young
Yeah.
age. You see, I see this young man here, that's
Yeah.
right over there, and I
Oh,
love that
so
he's
precious.
hearing
Yes.
what's unfolding
Yes.
because the level of faith that
love it.
would be in us. I know that it builds
Yes.
my faith.
Yes.
I know where I'm headed, and when I
Yes.
hear this, it just says, "Sandrie, it can be done, it must be
It
done,
can
it
be
will be
done.
done, and it is done. It can
And
be
that's
done,
what
it
I
must be done,
say
it
all
will
the
be done,
time.
and
You
it is
know,
done."
if it
Yes.
has been
Yes.
done, it can be done.
That's it.
And doesn't it get you to a level with faith
Yes.
in God and seeing Him do not even miraculous things
Yes.
because He's just God. I know for my own life, it's not that I'm not surprised, but I do believe that there almost isn't anything that He can't do.
Right.
Does that make, you know what I mean?
Yes, I
Like,
see it.
are you kidding me?
Yes.
You can do
Anything. Yeah. Nothing is impossible.
When I saw the
To
picture, when
be
you
that
sent me
way.
the picture with the keys,
Oh yeah.
it was funny because I thought the secret can be out because I knew
yeah.
when we had talked about the 8 acres, I knew that
Yeah.
it was going to be a couple $1 million home. I knew that they were building, but Lenika was like, shh.
Yeah. Look.
Y'all all, I'm always holding somebody's secret.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, just wait. Just give me a few more hours first.
Honey,
Because some things you got to do in silence.
Yeah.
Like we were going through so
You
much
do.
warfare behind the
You
scene.
know.
I said I ain't putting this out
it's
there
like
until
prayer
I
and
got my
signs,
keys
seals,
in
and
my
delivered.
hand.
Come
And
on,
let's
man.
talk
Same
about
thing.
why.
Yep.
Because of attacks.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, you know what? There's some people that just don't want to celebrate you.
Yeah.
And you know what they say? What is it? Don't be where you're tolerated, be where you're
It's
celebrated.
celebrated,
And
yeah.
sometimes you do have to
Yeah.
till it's time.
Yeah.
But girlfriend, it's
Yeah.
time to shout it to
Yes.
the mountain.
Hallelujah. Glory.
He done did it. And
Yes.
it's yours. It's
Yes.
2.6
Yeah.
million.
I'm like, oh my
and
God.
listen, what are you
Yes.
believing him for? Listen, Linda. No, listen, you over there. Listen, God will do it for you.
Yes.
When you go from renting to owning,
Yes.
you have the right to own it. The question is, do you realize that you have it in you already?
Oh
You
my
lack
God.
nothing. We lack nothing.
Yes.
You understand that? The download has been made. Think of yourself. If you were a computer, have you opened the right application?
Yes,
Have
come
you
on.
clicked? Have you activated it? And are you moving in it?
Yes.
And that's what happened with
Yes.
you. You literally kept clicking. No,
Yes.
God, you promised, you said, and you focused on the
Yes.
promise,
Yes.
not on the pain.
Yeah.
The process is the process.
Yes.
And here we are. And
And
the
the-
children.
But during that process, she's writing a book.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
She's
yeah.
writing a book.
Tell me
Yeah,
about these two
yeah,
books. Start with
okay.
this one.
All right. So this is a book called Angelic Allies. I'm so grateful for this book. This book was picked up by a major Christian publishing company. I'm quite sure you know who they are. Destiny Image.
Mhm.
And even the book being picked up was such a
Phenomenal.
miracle.
Phenomenal.
You know how it happened. They didn't know me from a can of paint,
Oh.
but you know when your name is spoken by the
Yes.
angels and
Yes.
you know in the spirit realm,
Yes.
God knows your name,
Yes.
right?
And He will carry you.
And He would carry
and
it.
make your name great.
And so I'm in my prayer room, right? This is the other house. I'm in
Mhm.
the prayer room, and I'm on the floor, right? And God was like, this book, because I'm sending the graphic artist stuff, and He's like, no. This book will be picked up by a major Christian publishing.
Mhm.
I want this one to go through a Christian publishing company. And I'm thinking, well, God, I don't know none.
Oh,
And
my
then
God.
I look in my my drawer, kind of like sitting like the one that's
Mhm.
behind you. All of these books in there, prophetic books, and I begin to pull them out, and I see Destiny Image name. He said, that's the one. And I'm like, well, God, surely if this Destiny Image, like, I don't know these people. Like, it's going to have to be you. And I sent them my manuscript, and they didn't hear back. I didn't hear back from them. I said, well, God, I know you spoke to me
In
that day in my... And when I
My
tell
God.
you, He said, you got to trust me, daughter. And me and my husband was in Martha's Vineyard.
Oh.
And I was out there with the well-known holistic doctors who serve people all over the world.
Mhm.
And this angel feather just fell next to me. And they messaged me. They said, we have picked up your book. And when they called me back, they said we were in transition. We had already pulled your manuscript to give you a call. But what happened was God had sent me to Florida. My husband and I, we flew out to Florida. We went to this workshop, and I ended up getting the publisher's email address. And I've never been one to try to push the door open back. Because my thing is, if God is going to do it, that door is going to have to come through by God. I ain't trying to push myself to get on nothing. True. I wait for God. So and God said, email him. That's the best push. And when I emailed him, he messaged me back. And within 30 minutes, he said, we're going to reach out to you. And when I was in Martha's Vineyard, I got an email. He said that they picked up the book. So it is a book on angels, right? And how they are there to help you, to assist you with carrying out, your destiny here in this earth. They are God's agents. They are God's warriors. They follow his command on Amazon.
Okay.
They can
and
get
how
it on
can we
Amazon.
know more about what you're doing business if people want to connect with you?
On my website, lenikascott.com.
Lenika Scott, Lenika.
Yes.
LenikaScott.com.
Please tell them about your prayer.
Yes. So before we get off, I have been hosting a prayer ministry prayer call for 13 years. It's getting up every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Now I'm visible every Monday and Friday, but for 13 years, it's live on Facebook, and then we also have a conference call to dial in.
And often.
Wow. So that's Monday and what?
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But on Mondays and Fridays.
Wednesdays, and Fridays.
At
every
6
other day.
a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But on Mondays and Fridays, I'm visible up there leading the prayer ministry. Wow.
Listen, guys.
Phenomenal.
Time flies. We're having fun.
Wow.
This is so powerful. First of all, I'm so happy for you and just how God has blessed you. But above all, it's due to your obedience.
It's
and your level of faith that
yeah.
commissions the power of God. I am so excited. Time's up. You know what?
Lenika
But we have
Scott.
January coming up in February and March. And I have great plans with my sisters. Between the series of, and this right here.
Oh, thank
the
you.
series on angels and on love. So you have to stay connected. I'm going to remind you when they'll be back with us. But guys, it's just been an amazing 5 weeks. All I got to say is stay connected. Remember, above all, you are so important to him. He literally ordered your days, predestined them before you were ever. Remember, before you were formed here on earth, you were created up in the heavenlies. That's another show. What I'm saying is what God has done for Lenika, what he has done for Dr. Loretta, what he's done for me, he'll do for you. That's just the way it is. Surrender, yield it all to the Lord. He's right there by your side. He loves you just the way you are. He meets you right where you at. And we want you to be connected to us next week again with Sandrie and Friends. I love you. Te amos. Eres la manzanita del ojo de Dios. Dios te bendiga.
This is Sandrie and Friends. Laser focus now.
Hi, this is Sandrie with Sandrie and Friends. I want you to follow me, connect with me, keep me posted. We got to keep this conversation going, flowing. So connect. Social media, through email, website, whatever. I want to hear from you. Love you. Hi, I want you to watch me on Dominion TV, Sandrie and Friends. Time and day is below.
This is Sandrie and Friends.